Hey, I'm Sith King.
And I'm Sonic Sons.
And we're the Rambling Reviewers.
And today we're looking at The Legend of Korra, Book 3, Episodes 1 and 2.
Part of our continuing Korra coverage.
Yes.
And this is really... Guys, I gotta be honest, it's hard. It's really hard to talk about these because... we've come to expect a certain pattern from Legend of Korra.
Yeah.
Set up some honestly interesting ideas, and then utterly fail to impress us, and fuck it up in the worst ways possible. Okay, not the worst ways.
Not the worst, but right in that sweet zone where it's fun for us to make fun of it.
But this was
kind of good.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like the best to see.
The hell, Korra? You're my venting thing. When it comes to animation, it's you and Equestria Girls that I take out all my anger on. You're failing at your job of sucking. You are failing to suck.
Yep. It's always a problem for us reviewers when someone just doesn't get the memo.
You're supposed to suck. God damn it, what the hell?
So let's go over, it's kind of how it starts off. We merge the spirit world with the real world at the end of the last season, the last book.
Yep.
And there are actual consequences for that in this book.
Yeah, it's not like last book where the biggest consequence we had of, Korra losing her bending was, yay, she can do the magic Kung Fu action Korra with light up grip thing from last season.
Well, yeah, it was gonna be so cool at the end of book 1. You're like, oh, she lost her bending, and then maybe she only has wind, but still she would only have wind. Wouldn't that be interesting?
Air, but
air.
Wind is Captain Planet. Air is Airbender.
Wouldn't that be interesting? And then it was like, never mind, she has all her powers back, and you were like, what? You totally threw that idea out the window. So I just thought maybe we'd get to season 3 and it'd be like, oh, by the way, there are spirits, but nobody cares, whatever. And that's just like, no, they're involved. They've taken over parts of town.
Yeah, they and it turns out that Unavatu or Vatulok or...
I'm going to go with Unavatu.
Yeah. Yeah, Unavatu or... what
Godzilla Vatu.
Kaijusaurus.
Yeah.
When he attacked with vines, the vines are still there because, well, they're spirit vines, so they're really hard to get rid of. They have Wolverine regenerative abilities, and they're infested with spirits. So, I'm still questioning as to why Vatu attacked with giant spirit vines instead of, chest lasers or being a giant monster and walking through the buildings made of toothpicks.
And I'm still questioning on why Korra put the two worlds together at the end of season 2.
Yeah.
That's the one downside of this is that when they play out the consequences of the past, that's good. You remembered what happened. At the same time, it's like, oh yeah, the thing that happened made no sense.
Yeah.
And I think to myself...
And Korra keeps going, oh, no, I did the right thing. Would you... Korra, yes. I'd like to ask a little question here. Why? Jesus God, why?
It should have been, and this could have been very simple, is that the worlds get accidentally merged as a result of their epic magic fighting, whatever. And just, they happen to do that because their magic is so epic and they're at Godzilla mode, right?
Yeah.
And then she just couldn't turn it back.
Yeah.
And that would be it. That would make sense.
That would make sense.
Instead, it was like, no, Juan should not have split the worlds. Like, why not? The worlds have been fine, actually.
But you know what? You know what I did like about this?
Yeah.
People are actually calling her out on this bullshit.
Yeah, they are. This is fun.
Yeah, so the newspapers are going, remember how you merged the Earth and the spirit world? Yeah, we can't get rid of the vines. At one point, they even mentioned, they've cut off water to, chunks of the city. Wow. So we'd like you to get rid of these things, fucking now, bitch.
And I liked how she figures it out and she starts doing the spirit taming thing that Unalaq did.
It makes it worse.
It made it worse. And you're like, oh, because for a second there I thought they were going to resolve this entire problem. Just and now there are vines everywhere. Oh, never mind, there are not vines everywhere. We fixed everything.
Well, worse. They're actually getting worse.
Getting worse.
It actually she takes the vines off of one building, and everyone's like, oh, sweet, thank you, Korra. You did something really good. Then the vines not only come back, they attack another building and take it down, nearly killing everyone inside.
Yeah.
And Bolin... Amazingly, Bolin is not half as annoying as he was in the other ones. He's a little more like Sokka in this one. He gives out a few snappy one-liners. Sure, he's a little childish, but he's more restrained in these 2-3 episodes we saw.
Yeah, I think so.
He looks up at it and was like, yeah, that didn't go quite how I planned it. And it's like, wow, that was like perfect comedic timing. Exactly what we needed. Instead of him being like ignorant man-child like he has been.
Yeah, they're tuning him better, I think, at least in these last couple episodes. Then she gets kicked out of the city, and now she has a quest. I think Avatar works better when you're on a quest.
Okay,
you get to meet people, do an Adventure
We're
Towns
skipping
thing.
ahead a little bit
Oh, we are a
because
little
due to harmonic convergence, suddenly airbenders are appearing out of frickin' nowhere.
Yeah, I didn't believe that at all when it first happened. When Boomy falls off the tree and suddenly airbends to save himself, I was like, that's not happening. But I bet someone's airbending off screen, right? It's going to be a... And then it was a major plot point, and I was like, oh, wait, really?
I felt that he should have had more of a major reaction to that, but seriously, the scene where he did discover he had airbending was pretty funny in and of itself. I felt it should have been more dramatic because, well, quite frankly, last season he had this whole thing where he had deep-seated resentment towards his two siblings because they had bending and he had
Not.
nothing.
He had flute bending.
He had he had Muggle power.
Muggle power, yeah.
Yeah, he was a general in the army, so that's got to speak well to his ass-kicking abilities.
Yeah. But still, he felt overshadowed by his siblings.
Yeah, so you'd figure this would be a really big thing for him, bigger than he makes it out to be. I mean, granted, he does make a big deal out of it, but...
Yeah, but it could also be a more serious deal. Like, it's more like, I got a birthday present. Isn't this so cool? It could be just a couple moments here and there of like, wow, all my life I thought I was inferior to you, and now, so just a little bit of something might be nice.
Yeah, but it turns out that he's not the only one who's got bending powers. Turns out other people in Republic City have bending powers, and that the police apparently do not have people who can talk down suicide jumpers.
Must be a very peaceful city that has no suicide jumpers.
Really? Because, After the Urlak Vatu attack, I think there were... I mean, yeah, that's dark,
that.
But, Mako found this guy who apparently could airbend, and he got smacked in the face with a door, so I think that's a pretty funny scene.
That was nice.
Yeah, so they finally corner him. He's on top of this bridge, and he's going, I don't want to hurt anyone! Just go away! And he smacks away the... Okay, Chief Beifong yells up at him, come down or we have to use force. You gotta admit, that'd be a different tactic to talk down a suicide jumper. You get down from there or I will go up there and I will kick your ass until you come down.
To be fair, I don't think he was actually a suicide jumper. We keep saying that, but it was actually trying to get as far away from you as possible guy.
Yes, but you could easily see the parallels in comparison.
Guess so, yeah.
Heck, Korra even goes up there and tries to talk him down.
Talk him down. Which, yay for her for talking, and I mean, it's not like she's been Duke Nukem or something from the beginning, but I feel like
God, no.
I feel like earlier Korra would have been more violent about this, and like he's a threat to the city. Let's punch him or something.
Nothing. No, I know. She would have like slammed him into the wall and then brought him down, tied up in metal or something.
Maybe. Yeah. So that was neat that we actually just calmed him down, and
granted, it didn't. It had a small problem of him being balanced on a thin metal ledge, so he actually fell anyways.
It worked out in the end.
Although I did like the design of the glider that Korra was using. It's the same design that Aang got from the Mechanist for his new glider after his orange one was destroyed when he stupidly placed it in lava because it was already sort of destroyed. You know what? I don't care anymore.
It's okay.
But still, nice little continuity nod there.
Yeah, I like that. Like she gets kicked out of the city soon thereafter, and then they're gonna go
And you can totally understand why the mayor is saying this stuff.
Yeah,
ever since you came here, I mean, President said, yeah, ever since you got here, shit's been going horribly wrong. And I have to be honest, you can't really argue that much with him. Since she got here, there was an equalist takeover that she failed to stop. There was a coup.
Stopped it eventually.
Well, it stopped it eventually. There was a coup. There was a giant monster attack. Now vines are cutting off major parts of the city, including running water, which is a pretty serious concern. You gotta imagine that there's parts of the city where there's, like, lines to use drinking fountains.
Yeah,
and,
or just, like, a well or something. Everyone's lining up at the well.
Yeah. So, it's...
some consequences. Now, they were talking...
Plus, there's politician logic going on here. He doesn't want his approval rating to drop any lower.
Yeah.
Korra's approval rating is already pretty low.
Yeah.
It's it's politician logic. I have to do something. This is something. Thus, we must do this. Fortunately, the same logic also says a dog has 4 legs. A cat has 4 legs. Thus, a cat is a dog.
Yeah, politicians. Now, they were talking at somewhat cross purposes, where she was like, hey, I saved the city. And he's like, well, what about these vines? And I'm thinking, well, she did save the city, right? Like,
Yeah.
It's not like she's... No, wait, actually, I was going to say, it's not like she's responsible for the disaster in the first place. But remember how we said she should have just avoided the spirit world entirely so she couldn't possibly be coerced into opening up the second portal so that harmonic convergence would... So yeah, it was kind of her fault that the city was in jeopardy.
And she left the damn thing open anyway.
She left it open.
So yeah, it really is your fault.
Just stay and take a nap on that beach for a couple of weeks until harmonic convergence is done and then Janora doesn't get kidnapped and all of this. That's what the president should have said. And then at the end of that whole speech, he should have been like, it's almost as if the writers of this show didn't think of all this stuff.
Also, I'm actually 2 men standing on each other's shoulders in a mask. We are Sith King and Sonic Sons.
Ah, that guy's tall.
Anyway, so next, so they decide to go out on a giant airship that
Apparently they just built between seasons.
that Asami has. She says it's a Future Industries airship. Okay, while I like the idea of tooling around in Hindenburg Mark II, looking for airbenders.
I wouldn't name it that.
Well, yeah, I
I'm gonna
wouldn't
go
either.
with the
But
Spirit of St. Louis, maybe. Anyway,
that was a plane.
still, it was an air vehicle.
Yeah, but it's not a Zeppelin, so whatever.
Have you heard of a successful Zeppelin ever?
Yes, it worked for many years.
Okay,
up
no,
until the Hindenburg.
but with a name. Can you remember any, like, the famous such and such Zeppelin? Like, I can't
Graf
remember.
Zeppelin.
Okay, fine.
And I will accept your apology. Anyway, so she says it's a Future Industries airship. Quick question here. I was under the impression, and correct me if I'm very wrong with this, that a big part of the season last time we got around to this, a big subplot was that Varric was buying out Future Industries because their asses were bankrupt, because no one would buy their shit. And thusly, and follow me on this one, because no one would buy their things, they had no money. So please explain what proctologist that Asami went to pull that Zeppelin out of her ass.
Well, let's see. As far as Varric owning them, maybe that was canceled when he went to jail. Which I'm still wondering if he's going to show up, by the way.
Really hoping
on
so.
that same glider. Like, he's just been gliding between seasons the whole time.
Jeez. That would fit his character strangely well.
That would. And then Julie would be an airbender all of a sudden, and she'd just be, like, airbending on his behalf. But then, yeah, as far as them being broke, they should have mentioned, like, okay, we had some tough times, but then we invented something, or a new market opened up, or whatever.
Yeah, and isn't she still the head of Future Industries? What happened to that? You can't have a detail be really important one season and then totally ignored the next.
Yeah, that's, what was I going to say?
Stupid.
Oh, well, yes, but we were pointed out last season how no one else works for Future Industries except Asami. There isn't, like, a secretary, there isn't a board of directors, there isn't even one single guy on security. It's just her and Mako have to defend the whole thing all night. Like, that just doesn't make sense, and that should have been part of it. Like, maybe I've stepped down as chairman, I hired someone else, now I can go adventure with you for a while.
Hey, wait a second. I just realized something.
Yeah.
All the episodes and scenes where we've seen on the airship, we never see anyone else aside from the main characters. We never see any janitors. We never see any engineers. We never see the pilots of these damn things.
I thought I remember there being a wheel or something. Was a main character tooling with that?
I don't know, but we don't see
There should have been, there should have been like, hello, I'm the captain of this vessel, I helped design it or something, and
Yeah, that could be an interesting little side character bit. You could have him bond with Boomy.
Yeah, there should be at least one crewman who comes with the ship.
Yeah,
It's not like we've all been trained at this from birth or something.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to pilot a Zeppelin, my choice for crew would not be a girl who we saw cannot drive for shit earlier.
Yeah.
A monk who spent most of his life riding a flying buffalo.
Yeah.
Two sports stars. and Pabu. Oh, and a child.
And a child. And a child.
Okay. Admittedly, Boomy probably could pilot it just because he's Boomy and he's kind of nuts like that.
Also, Asami is on the company that designed the thing, so maybe she helped
she
design it. But yeah, it's just, you need to round these things out a little more.
But if that's the case, we shouldn't ever see her like outside of the cockpit because apparently there's only one person. We shouldn't see her and Boomy and all the rest in the cockpit. I mean, in the lounge area they have. Because I would be like, hey, wait a minute, who's flying this thing? Crunch! Oh, well, we just killed the Fire Lord. Sorry!
Oh, sorry.
Well, it turns out the Avatar did kill Zuko in the end. The Avatar did kill the Fire Lord. Suck it, Aang, you and your pacifistic nonsense.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
Oh, and Jinora. I'm just kind of annoyed with Jinora at the beginning. Because she said, why do we have to get rid of these vines? This is the spirit's home now. This is where they live. Jinora, sweetie, fuck you.
Well, Korra did call her out on that like a second later. Like,
yeah.
I don't think the people who lived here are thinking the same thing, Jinora.
Yeah, which is something I like about this season. Yeah. They're calling each other out on bullshit.
Yeah, I like that. And I don't hate Jinora's siblings. Like, they're all right. But I think it's better that they're staying home while we go on the quest.
Yes.
Just cut down the number of characters, and we can learn more about the characters we've got.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, I don't think we're done with the first episode yet.
We I mean, they said they would head out at the end of episode 1, and then we're talking about them being on their quest in episode 2. I think we're right about.
Wait, we forgot it. Okay, so these guys in the White Lotus Society.
Oh yeah, that scene.
Have an admittedly pretty cool prison complex, which raises a couple questions. 1, where is this? 2, I thought the White Lotus Society was originally created as a club for philosophy between grandmasters and open free thinkers as was stated in Avatar The Last Airbender, by Grandmasters of the White Lotus Society.
They did kick ass, though, at the climax, at least.
But that's because, Grandmaster in martial arts fiction means I can turn you inside out and laugh as you die.
Yeah.
With no effort. So why do they have secret prison bases? Who the hell gave them the authority to do this? There ain't no United Nations in this world.
They could feasibly take it upon themselves, type of thing.
They went from this group of kind of cool grandmasters to this private army.
Yeah, but not in the strict mercenary, do what we want and get paid for it sense. More in the this guy's very dangerous and we must keep him away for the good of the world sense. Like, somewhat different. Yeah.
Here's a thought. If he's so dangerous, you have to build an entire prison to keep him in. And mind you, this is kind of a radical step, but why don't you kill him? It would save a lot on expenses instead of, well, we could construct an elaborate doomsday prison for supervillains that is about 3 months out in the middle of nowhere. Or we could stab him with this $10 blade I got at Walmart. No. Let's go with the doomsday prison. The taxpayers will love it.
So, you gotta do... On the Doyleist side is, well, we needed a bad guy to come from somewhere, and prison's a good place to do it. And on the Watsonian side, just they're too pacifistic to kill a prisoner, I guess.
But not pacifistic enough to serve as guards.
Well, you know what I mean. There are people who are...
And help take down the walled city of Ba Sing Se single-handedly.
For the good of the world.
And help guard the Avatar. The freaking Avatar.
Okay, not pacifistic. I mean, they just don't like to kill if they don't have to. There's a word for that, I'm sure.
Stupid?
Ah.
Okay, well, no. Okay, I admire anyone who takes that belief. It's just that at a certain point, when you're dealing with an entity who's so dangerous that he doesn't even have bending, and yet you still are willing to put him out in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, on top of a rock spire, and have him stand against the wall and require like 5 or 6 bending masters just to give him food. I'm thinking maybe there might be a little more cost-effective solution to your dilemma.
Yeah. Now, remind me on this, because honestly I forgot. When Korra got the power in Book 2 to give people their bending back, was it implied she could also take bending away if she felt like it?
I don't know.
Because, I mean, Aang managed to do that.
Yeah.
And here's Korra with Godzilla powers on top of everything else.
I think that was more related to the
I
harmonic
meant book
convergence.
1, actually, not book 2. Book 1 when
Oh.
she did that. But if she could take people's bending away, obviously that first guy, no one knew he had bending. But the other 3, you think, oh, White Lotus would send you a telegram. Could you come by and take this person's bending away? It would save us a lot on prison cost.
Yeah.
You know, put him in a regular prison thereafter, or whatever. I don't know.
Okay, and another, I mean, like, this guy's name is Zahir or something.
Zahir. Nah, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, and I've got a problem with him, too. No offense, I happen to like it when people get their asses kicked. You know, I'm a fan of violence in fiction. But, you're able to defeat multiple grandmasters with a style of martial arts and bending that you didn't have until 3 weeks ago. That strikes me as a little implausible.
Yeah, he did mention...
Mind you, I'm discussing plausibility in a series where children are given the abilities to summon fire from their hands, but... semantics.
Yeah, he did mention reading the poetry of some great airbending legend or something. And I kind of assumed that there were instructions mixed in with, practical tips on airbending along with the philosophy stuff.
Yeah.
And so he had learned the forms from that or something. It was a little vague, I'll give you.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. What kind of... We really have to reconsider how pacifistic the air nomads were if their poetry consisted on Bruce Lee level instruction materials.
Be like water, my friend. I mean air. Be like air, my friend.
Now, one must... It is possible for one to achieve weightlessness. Here's how to break a man's spine with your bare hands. Holy cow, the air... No wonder Sosa took those guys out first. They were apparently monsters.
Yeah.
The Klingons would feel at home with these guys.
Yeah. Maybe if they could have implied better that he had, been training when they're not looking... I don't know how you would do that, but if they leave him alone for a week at a time, and maybe we see him moving stuff around, a little montage or something. You got to do it right, so it's still a surprise when he does it. But it would be neat to be like, so he's actually been working at this steadily, and they never knew. I will say this: I like the character, his writing, and all this. His voice actor is too young. I mean, maybe you didn't notice this, but I felt every time he talks...
I felt he was too flat.
Well, maybe that's what I'm saying, too, at the same time. Every time he talks, I just kept feeling like, not grizzled enough, not old enough, not for what your face is telling me, you got to be older than that. He's not like a kid, but he's just not old enough. But, oh, well, I'll do... Then I think the next guy they rescued, that guy had a more grizzled voice. So I was like, okay, that fits better.
Yeah, but that's next episode, so...
Sorry, yeah.
Actually, I think that was all the episode, so... Yeah, next episode.
No. Kai shows up in episode... Oh, episode 1, not episode 2. Yeah,
episode 2.
Episode 2. I thought you meant 3 by next.
Oh,
so
no.
next episode...
Okay, that guy you were talking about, he does the coolest bending move I've ever seen.
The freaking... What would you call that?
He took some rocks, he made a magma buzzsaw. I am so not even kidding. He started spinning it really fast. Suddenly, it starts glowing red hot into magma. And then he compresses it into a buzzsaw, cuts his way out of a wooden cage, and kicks ass. Holy crap! If Aang could have done that, the show would have been over in one season.
This is the season 1 buzzsaw.
Holy cow! It was seriously the highlight of the episode for me.
That was pretty cool.
Okay,
Pretty cool move. So he busts out his buddy there. And you know...
They take it really well that he's suddenly an airbender. I'm an airbender now. Cool. We getting the other guys? Sure.
Yeah, and obviously they're forming a, what's known in the Tropeverse as Psycho Rangers team. You're going to have one airbender, one firebender, one waterbender, and one earthbender in the bad guy unit.
Yeah,
but okay.
I wouldn't say the Psycho Rangers, per se. Psycho Ranger, I think, more describes evil counterparts to the heroes.
They are. I mean, as far as their bending goes, they are the evil counterparts to the heroes.
Yeah.
It's power per power. It's like Captain Pollution versus Captain Planet.
Well, yes, but the thing is that I don't know. Psycho Rangers implies something slightly different.
Yeah, maybe it does. I haven't read that page in a while.
Well, like the Psycho Rangers originally came from Power Rangers where the bad guys came up with evil Power Rangers that were the Psycho Rangers. And then later there was an evil Power Rangers team because the Power Rangers had turned evil.
Well, there you go. Always a hazard.
Yeah. But anyways, I'm sorry. We're getting off topic. Anyways.
So in the meantime, as these successive jailbreaks are going off, Team Avatar, which refers to itself as Team Avatar nowadays.
Yeah.
Which I don't think quite makes sense. It should have been like, just, she says to Mako, you're part of Team Avatar. It should have just been, you're part of the team. Doesn't that sound more natural to you?
Yeah, it does.
It's like if I had like I was on a basketball team or something, I just called it Team Sonic Suns. Like, you don't just get to name it after yourself randomly.
Well, she wasn't really naming it after herself so much as the title of the position.
Yeah, but still, it was just they clearly lifted that from the fans. And
really? Because I thought the fans nicknamed her group the Crew with a K. Because poor literacy is Q.
I heard Team Avatar though.
Okay, Team Avatar. Okay, I think that refers to the group that hangs around with the Avatar in general. But like, the last Avatar, the Last Airbender, their group was known as the Gang after.
Well, yeah. I'm just talking about this one.
Yeah.
But I should talk about Mako and Asami and Korra.
Yeah.
I liked how this played out. It's Korra says to Asami, or whatever.
Korra
Asami have a conversation in the car, and it's like, hey, so did you hear about the breakup? Yeah, I did. And just so you know, I kissed him while you were dating him. I kissed him while you were dating him. And
what?
And they're like, they're just a little bit upset, and then like, okay, whatever, let's just get over it. And I'm like, yay!
I actually liked the Korra and Asami chemistry. Not necessarily shipping, because there are going to be people who are all over that, but just the chemistry between those two characters works well when they're not fighting over a man.
Yeah, I like that they're reasonable enough to put this stuff behind them and to be able to talk about Mako without like continuing to get jealous
and
or
angsty
or whatever. And like, okay, we're just gonna be reasonable people now, and whatever, we're still friends. I was like, thank you. I like
that's surprisingly mature of everyone here.
I hope it stays that way, because it was going to be that way at the beginning, like episode 4 maybe of book 1, where it was sort of like, okay, things are weird between Korra and Bolin and Mako, but we'll put it aside. And then it didn't really go aside entirely. Then it became her and Mako and Asami, and they just break up and get together. And
it became less of let's put it aside and more slow-motion train wreck into an orphanage.
it was just
made of nitroglycerin. Why did we construct an orphanage out of nitro?
Maybe they're orphan mutants, and they're powered by the explosion.
That would seem like a reason to not make them have access to the explosion. Whatever. We're officially off topic. We're discussing nitroglycerin orphanages and explosion-powered mutant orphans.
Yep. Clearly, we're getting a call from Orphanages International right now about to tell us not to do that.
We know you know about our nitro orphanages. Okay, well...
Put that on a t-shirt. Then Mako's really odd, or is awkward towards both of them. Which is funny when he's awkward and they're not. They're like, Mako, it's okay. And he's like, oh, hi there, Avatar, Korra, Avatar Korra. And we're like, Mako, just get over it, Mako. Like, we're gonna move on now. It's okay.
I can totally understand where he's coming from.
I do. I understand it. That's what I'm saying though. It was fun to see him like that, and also not to have everyone else in on the same awkwardness. And he comes along after Bolin begs him.
Yeah.
And so they go off, and we're gonna recruit everyone to join the Air Nomads. And everyone says, why the frick would I want to do that?
And that makes sense. Seriously, Tenzin's biggest flaw, aside from being in The Legend of Korra and not some better show.
Yes.
Okay, but his biggest flaw, aside from that, has always been the fact that he obsesses about...
tradition?
His father's legacy and tradition. He wants to have Air Nomad rebuilt as a society. I strongly suspect that that's why he has so many kids, to try to rebuild society as much as possible.
Yeah, I suppose that's one motivation.
Okay, yeah, other than
he loves his kids.
But seriously, that's
that's part of it, yeah.
Yeah. He's always loved... He lives on an isolated island with a bunch of people who think exactly like him, that the Air Nomads were the greatest thing ever. I don't think he's that great at social interaction, personally. So I don't think he sees why going around and asking everyone, hey, would you like to become monks and give up everything you've ever known and loved, wouldn't be a great attraction to them. It's the same problem that I think Luke Skywalker ran into when he was trying to form the Jedi Academy in the expanded Star Wars universe. Originally, he might have wanted to say, okay, we want things exactly the same as they were in the old Jedi Order. But see, he started to run into problems because he couldn't go around asking, hey, can I see your children to see if they have magic superpowers? Because people would try to kill him. He had to recruit from adults who already had access to the Force, even if they weren't consciously doing it. Thus, he had to prove why coming to the Academy would be a good thing for them.
So basically, it all follows on that theme of change, which is the name of the book.
Precisely. Heck, they even made fun of this in the new Jedi Order series of books. They were trying to reform the Jedi Council, but they realized, hey, we can't really be separate from the rest of the galaxy anymore. The galaxy has changed since the Jedi were first extinguished, and their isolation was what helped destroy them. But I think the biggest difference here is that they're not trying to recreate... Okay, they're both trying to recreate something.
Yes. So there you go. Not too much of a difference.
But the problem is that Tenzin doesn't realize that he needs to change. He thinks that everything would be hunky-dory if it was back to the way it was 170 years ago. And there's the biggest problem with Tenzin's thinking. 170 years is, for humans, a freaking long time. America's only 238 years old. Most of the countries in the New World, that is North and South America, are much younger than that. Or at least have been independent from the European countries that colonized them. Whatever.
170 years is a long time, is what he said.
Yeah. The world has largely changed. The days when you could walk in and say, hi, I'm a spirit guru, do what I want because it's spiritually acceptable, are starting to go away.
Yeah.
I mean, you have major corporations now, which didn't exist back in the days of Last Airbender.
True.
The attitudes of the world have changed. And quite frankly, the air nomads don't exist anymore.
Right, that was probably the biggest thing, is that people were born as air nomads and raised that way from birth. It was normal to them. And this guy's like, hey, I have a farm, I've got kids, like, why do I care? I don't abandon that.
And we hear him say the words that probably speak the biggest about this lack of thinking about this. You have to learn about your culture. He assumes that just because they didn't have, they're now an airbender, that airbender is their culture. Now, I will admit, for him, and for Aang, and for all the airbenders before them, being an air nomad was their culture. That was the entirety of everything they knew. Okay. But these are grown adults who have lived all their lives in the Earth Kingdom or the United Republics. They already have culture. They have lives, they have roots, or they have families. They aren't going to leave them because you told them that, hey, come live with me in my shack in the woods.
Yep, pretty much. I wonder if they're going to keep playing through that the rest of the season, or if it was, he learned his lesson in episode 2 and kind of doesn't talk about it much thereafter. Though he will actually probably continue that with Kai. And he'll keep telling Kai to be more of an air nomad, and Kai will be like, I'm really not.
And which is good, I mean, granted, I don't like Kai much.
I mean, I liked Kai, actually.
I mean, he's okay, but he doesn't, I don't know,
You don't like him for being a liar and a thief?
Okay, I actually like him for that, but I don't like him because he's a kid.
I think kid could work.
I have a lot of experiences with shows where they suddenly bring in a kid because the audience is younger and they can relate to that. I don't care about that. So stop bringing in a kid to act young and cutesy when we're in a big dramatic tense scene.
Yeah, but he has not played himself cutesy thus far, and that's what makes him interesting to me.
I know, so but that whole thing is setting me on edge about him, which is why...
Well, let's go ahead and say how that happened. So they finally... They show up at this one...
village.
Well, yeah, was there a name to this one? It was on their way to Ba Sing Se, but they weren't there yet.
I have no idea.
That's okay. So they show up at this one village and they put on a demonstration, like a circus performance or something, of what it's like to be an airbender, complete with bad acting from Mako.
Which, honestly, isn't that bad of an idea, if you ask me. It shows people in a outside controlled setting without Tenzin saying you have to give up everything that you ever known and loved. Mm-hmm. It presents the positive aspects of it.
So basically, Bolin had a good idea.
Yeah.
You know. So basically everyone leaves at the end, and then Kai shows up, and I see this kid, and I'm like, okay, could be interesting. A kid, airbender, all right. And he tells me his backstory about how his village was attacked by some bandits. His parents fought against them, and they tragically died, and now he's an orphan. And he says this whole paragraph, and it's kind of stilted. I'm thinking to myself, they could have written this better.
And I was thinking, yeah, this kid's faking it. I didn't see any spoilers. I didn't see anything. I was like, this kid is every cliched story of how you lost your parents ever.
This is actually ironic, because if Korra had been consistently good, I would have thought like you were thinking, and I would have been like, it must be fake. But because Korra's kind of bad, I thought this was just a kind of bad backstory. And then I was pleasantly surprised when it turned out to be all a lie. And I was like, oh, okay, cleverer than I thought.
Heck, that's basically the backstory for Mako, Bolin, and Asami.
Arnold Firebender just attacked everybody, didn't he?
Yeah, that bastard waterbender, Arnold Firebender.
Hey, Firebender.
I still think that's hilarious for no reason.
Yeah, I like it.
And then these bandits, making the finger quote. So, making the finger quotes there,
show up, and the guy's like, oh, protect me, here come the bandits, we need to fly away. And Korra's like, no, we're fighting them. And I'm sure in his head he's like, oh, crap, no, please don't fight them.
No, please don't go. I'm leaving now. Mako actually proves to be useful. He follows Kai, grabs him, and he's like, yeah, this little bastard was trying to run away.
He was trying to run away. I was just going to the bathroom with your sack of gold.
And he's not lying. It's a literal sack full of gold.
Yeah. The bad guys turn out to be just the cops who are trying to take the kid because he stole this from somebody.
But you'd think one of the things that the Avatar would be trained in is how to recognize local authority figures, but... uniforms and stuff.
Yeah. The only way that scene works is by people not identifying themselves properly, and by Korra over-identifying them. The way she says it, she was like, you outlaws, I will never stop that kid again. But she has to say the word outlaw so they can know, like, oh, she's got it wrong, and we're not outlaws, we're the cops. Now, more naturally, she'd just say, hey, back off. And they would think she means back off, you cops.
More naturally, they would have said, halt, this is the police. You are harboring a fugitive. Do not take off.
Yeah. No, they don't have very, if you're outside the Beifong area of police, everyone else is not so good, maybe.
Beifong?
Beifong.
Oh, the metal benders.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not Attack on Titan metal benders.
Yeah.
Okay, seriously, those would have made Attack on Titan a lot easier. Just... Seriously, Titan tries to swallow them. Oh, I'm sorry, I just bent metal into your weak point from your stomach.
Yeah, that would have been something.
Yeah. Note to self, crossover idea.
Yes.
Of course, then we'd have Titan shifters who can bend, so that would have been bad.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So Kai claims to have turned over a new leaf. He's like, okay, yes, I stole it from them, but that was the old me, not the new me. And I'm like, the new you tried to run off with the gold 30 seconds ago. There is no new you here.
The new you thought it was a good idea to lie to the Avatar and the son of the last Avatar and a cop. You're an idiot.
Yeah, I would like it if, and maybe they will do this later, if they played a little more with a possibility of redemption on his side, that, okay, he's a thief, but he really does want to escape his life and do something new and become like a better member of society. And he gets airbending. Imagine if we saw him when he gets it and he starts to realize, oh, I could maybe change my life. And then maybe, we see that he has the gold later on, and we're not sure, like, oh, did he forget he had that because he was such in a rush to leave? Or he's just really a thief at heart? and we could play with that, ambiguity.
And heck, you don't have to abandon the whole he's a thief scavenger
No,
bit.
yeah.
Mako was once on the streets, but then again, he's protagonist syndrome or something, so he feels like I have to be a good guy, even if I have to make this stick up my ass even more sticky. I'm going to ignore everything I just said.
So moving, but I like that Mako's backstory matters. I like that he was once a punk on the streets, and so he spots it when it happens.
Yeah, but okay, what I was trying to say is that being a thief with a heart of gold is something that can work very well in storytelling.
Especially if you use the gold to make a bionic heart. Okay, sorry, it was too obvious.
What?
A thief steals gold.
Okay,
I was literally a heart of gold.
I was thinking Iron Man, where he had the robotic heart, whatever.
No.
But okay, seriously though, sure, he might not be air acolyte material, but he could still work with the cops, pickpockets of the lowlifes and run information, be a professional stooge.
Maybe he will sort of team up with Mako that way eventually.
Mm-hmm.
He turns into a good guy.
Maybe he becomes a cop or something. Because the thing about characters who have rough edges is you don't necessarily need to smooth all the edges out for them to be really interesting. Look at Rom on Deep Space Nine. At first, he was a bumbling imbecile. And he remained that way for quite a while. But just because, he used to run criminal acts with his brother Quark doesn't mean that he doesn't do anything with his life. He becomes look at his son Nog. His son Nog is the first Ferengi in Starfleet. And the first time we meet him, he's in the middle of a robbery. We meet him because the security chief is arresting him for stealing stuff because the Cardassians left the station as a pile of crap. And yet he becomes, by the final episode, he becomes a lieutenant.
So basically what we're saying is hopefully Kai gets character development.
Yeah. But I'm saying it doesn't necessarily have to mean he becomes a paragon of righteousness and morality.
And I didn't say that either. I was just going to say, instead of making it so obvious he's just a thief, so far anyway, it would be nice to feel that there was depth to him with the possibility of, goodness. Now, I mean, what reason do we have to believe he's actually good at heart at the moment? He's a cute kid. That's kind of it.
That's stupid. If we're looking at cute kids, aesthetically speaking, Jet was kind of cute.
Which Jet? Oh yeah.
Jet was cute. And
I was thinking
he was planning to murder an entire city.
I was thinking
town, whatever.
I was totally thinking
settlement.
Totally thinking of Cowboy Bebop for a second there. Jet was cute, and I'm like, was Jet? I don't know if Jet was my type, really. Spike and Jet, you remember those guys, Cowboy Bebop?
No, I never saw Cowboy Bebop.
Okay, somebody go look up Cowboy Bebop and the character of Jet. He's awesome, but not cute.
I was thinking of the character of Jet from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah, no, that makes so much more sense. Yeah, I get it.
He was cute, and he had good intentions, but he was still a murderous a-hole.
So maybe Kai is a murderous a-hole. Let's find out.
Okay, yeah, but...
I know, yeah, things are complicated. But yeah, I'm willing to see where we'll go with this Kai thing. It could be good.
Meanwhile, we see more awesome bending skills from this group of criminals.
The Dark Avatar team.
No.
The anti-avatars. The Avatar opponents. The Thieves Guild. One of them doesn't have arms.
Yeah, we didn't even notice that until someone pointed it out.
I thought she had real arms. You just couldn't see them underneath the water. And then Wikipedia's like, a woman without arms. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, someone pointed that out to me on Skype. And, okay, in our defense, we have seen people in Avatar: The Last Airbender, such as Katara, using the technique where they cover their arms in whips of water and use them to fight. So, a woman using these as, Reed Richards-type arms, that was extremely new, but it was a variation on a technique we've seen before. It's still a variation on a technique we've seen before, but at the same time, it just makes it more novel.
Is there nobody who wants to send a message to the Avatar to let her know that all these people are breaking out?
Yeah, you'd think that would be a thing that you should do.
I mean, maybe they just can't reach her, but they should mention that. We don't know where the airship is, and they don't have a radio for some reason. Hey, wait a minute, they have radios now in this world. It should be much easier to reach people.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, granted, they don't have to necessarily be a global radio network. You might have to be pretty close or something like that.
Yeah.
Early radio technology was pretty limited, so I don't know.
Yeah, okay, so...
But you think they'd send somebody out there? Send someone word to the Earth Kingdom to search for, the Avatar to let her know that a crisis is emerging or something.
Yeah, a special Avatar hotline or something. I don't know.
An effort, really, whatever. It was cool to see old Zuko.
Oh, yeah, old Zuko. Woohoo!
With the dragon.
He's Zuko riding a dragon.
Yeah.
And it seemed to have more Western influences than the previous dragons that we've seen.
Maybe. Yeah, now that I think of it.
I mean, no offense to Eastern dragons. Don't get me wrong. Eastern culture is great and all, but there's something about the Western dragon that more speaks to me. It says giant flying dinosaur monster instead of snake.
Yeah, I go with Eastern for the mystic sense of things, like when the dragon is a wise being who will talk to you, and I go for Western when it's, oh god, it's going to eat me. Because it's more of a creature in the Western format, I think. Or more
dinosaurish or whatever. Let's see, what else happened? Actually, I think that was
it. He left, at that moment. That was the end of episode 2. They're doing this theme of change. I think they used the word change a little too often in the first episode. Kept noticing that. It was like, you guys, I know the season's called Change. It's okay. Little heavy on that.
To be fair, there were a lot of changes going on.
Yeah, I know, but
because, for example, there's spirits roaming everywhere. We didn't actually see too many spirits.
We talked to that one.
We talked to the Sand Slash.
Yeah. We didn't talk to them in general. Ko hasn't shown up, and it's vague to me in what way the worlds are connected. Are they pouring out? The vines are just everywhere, right? Like as if seeds had been scattered.
Yeah,
grew some vines, and then the spirits, did they move in with? Did they make a great trek from the portal, or did they just pop out of nowhere?
Also, considering that these things came from Captain Evil Pants, make chest lasery, you'd think they would be more concerned about the fact that these evil plants came from an evil dude, and yet people don't seem more freaked out about these things. Granted, they've had a few weeks to adjust to them, but I don't know if Ganondorf started scattering flowers across the fields, I'd be concerned about the flowers and his motives for spreading these flowers.
I wonder if we're gonna come back to Republic City and they're waging an all-out war on the vines and we need to make peace somehow, or if we're just gonna leave that all aside now and be like, that was our excuse to get out of Republic City, so we can do something else this season.
Really hoping that they don't do that, because honestly, that would be. Actually, I hope they stay out of Republic City. No offense, but the Republic City stuff was always kind of didn't really.
Well, it could have been better if they give it more time. I heard that when they came up to the second show, they were glad at the idea of fewer episodes per season. Or at first, they thought it was just one story, one season, because they thought they could do tighter storytelling. And I thought, in practice, I much prefer the longer seasons of the original show, where we had plenty of time to learn about everybody in detail.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell that there were filler episodes when I first watched the show.
No, I didn't consider any of them to be filler, really. It was Adventure Towns, which means not every episode was necessary for the larger plot, but you were advancing the characters and learning more about them, and that's fine. That's part of the storytelling,
Yeah, that's how storytelling freaking works.
Right, real filler is just absolutely nothing is happening here. It's just the same patterns over and over.
Heck, even the episodes that would normally be considered filler, the episode where Zuko and the Ozai's angels go to the beach.
That's something.
They revealed that Zuko actually feels super conflicted about everything.
Yeah.
Although anyone who watched Zuko for any amount of time, knows that he's super.
But still,
conflicted,
they explored that more in that episode. Yeah.
And then they burnt down some guy's house because they're assholes.
Yay, firebenders!
Yeah, you think they'd hire some waterbenders? Okay, we need someone to put out the fires. Thinking if you're firebenders, you don't really need to worry about it. You just go, and then, no more fire. Oh, yay! Da, 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 da.
Anyway, so this first 2 episodes have been pretty good. It may collapse later on. I don't know.
Not by the third episode. The third episode, it even gets better, I think.
The third, we're not going to get into it now, but I like the third. But even so, just going to wait. There are plenty more episodes left to go. But, they've improved a few things. Good for them.
Yeah. What? To the aliens who took over Mike and Brian's bodies and have made them make all these drastic changes to the world of Legend of Korra, please stay in there. We like you where you are. Yeah, that would be a different thing. You know, an alien takes over the leaders of the free world, a leader of the free world. Everyone likes him better that way. And they're like, and the aliens are like, you know, okay, guys, mothership, I do not understand these people.
Apparently they had really bad politicians.
They actually liked me better once I revealed I was an alien. Yeah, I don't know what to do with them.
Well, that'll be our next series that we make someday. I don't know.
Yeah, so, yeah, this actually good. Wow.
Let's see what happens.
Although, yeah, something I forgot to talk about. Zahir, or I don't want to say Zaid, because that's the name of Zaid Masani, the baddest bounty hunter in the Terminus systems.
I'm going to go with Zahir.
Zahir goes, yes, so our goal is to destroy the White Lotus Society. Okay, I was like, yeah, okay, you know, they kept you in prison. That's understandable. Don't know what you did, but, you know, I'm sure you have your reasons. And the Avatar. Why? What is your beef with the Avatar?
Every bad guy has to hate the Avatar.
Okay, for the first series, you know, Avatar: The Last Airbender, first 3 books, that was okay. That was understandable because the Fire Nation knew that the Avatar was the only thing opposing them from taking over the world. Okay, that's a military target. That's a legitimate reason. But once you get to the Korra era, you get multiple bad guys in a row who all want to destroy the Avatar. Okay, it's like Stephen Moffat's writing, as best put by this one parody work I saw. Episode 1, the Doctor's Darkest Hour. Episode 2, the Doctor's Darkest Hour. Episode 3, the Darkest Hour of the Doctor. Episode 4, no, seriously guys, this is the Doctor's Darkest Hour.
Not all of them are like that.
Okay, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just redoing the same idea too many times.
We want to kill the Avatar. Why? Do you not have... Can we find a bad guy who doesn't have any beef with the Avatar at all?
How about a guy? Yeah. How about he has his own plan, and then Korra messes it up in a couple episodes, and then he wants to.
I'd like
Korra.
to see a master thief. His goal is to steal all these artifacts, not because he wants to destroy the world or anything, but because he's freaking bored, and he finds stealing to be a challenge. I want to see Korra fight Carmen Sandiego.
Ooh, that could be interesting.
Ah! What's wrong, Korra? She stole my bending! And she stole Bolin's ability to speak. She can keep it. Carmen Sandiego is that good.
I think actually Carmen Sandiego has been here all along, and she keeps stealing plot ideas from the story. Oh, she stole that whole Korra doesn't have her powers arc. That was gonna be a great thing.
She was making up for the fact that she wasn't the one who stole them.
Yes.
Taking
Korra.
Taking my gig. Well, let's see how you like it.
So it's been Carmen versus Amon from the beginning.
Yes.
Both sides of the criminal underworld. Oh, man. Yeah, that sounds fun. So, I guess that's basically it for now.
Yeah, so anyways, I'm Sith King.
And I'm Sonic Sods.
And we're signing off.